सलिललोका गणय कारुण्य गणगणात्वं प्राप्तस्य कल्याणगुणनवस्य वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणरविन्द महाप्रभु कीर्तन नित्य गीता वादित्रमाद्यान् मनसोरसेना
महाप्रभु कीर्तन नित्य गीता वादित्रमाद्यान् मनसोरसेना
रोमाञ्चकम्पाश्रितरङ्गभाजो वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणरविन्दम् श्रीविग्रहाराधननित्यनाना शृङ्गारतन्मन्दिरमर्जनादो युक्तश्च भक्तां संयुञ्जतोऽपि वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणरविन्दम् चतुर्विधा श्रीभगवत्प्रसाद स्वदन्नतृप्तान् हरिभक्तसङ्गान् कृत्वैव तृप्तिं भजत सदैव वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणरविन्दम् श्रीराधिका माधवयोरपारा माधुर्यलीला गुणरूपनाम्नाम् प्रतिक्षणा स्वधनलोलुपस्य वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणरविन्दम् निकुञ्जयोनो रतिकेलिसीजय यायालिभिर्युक्तिरपेक्षणीया तत्रातिदाक्षाततिवल्लभस्य वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणरविन्दम् साक्षात्तरीत्वेन समस्तशास्त्रे उक्तस्तथा भायत एव सद्भिः किन्तु प्रभुर्यप्य एव तस्य वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणरविन्दम् यस्य प्रसादात् भगवत्प्रसादो यस्य प्रसादान्न गति कुतोऽपि यशस्त्रिसन्ध्यं वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणरविन्दम् विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यादेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. जय राधा नील माधव राधा नील माधव श्री राधे जय राधा नील माधव राधा नील माधव राधे राधे जय जगन्नाथ जय बलदेवा जय सुभद्रा जय सुदर्शना जय सीताराम 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 जय लक्ष्मण हनुमान जय लक्ष्मी नरसिंह जय लक्ष्मी नरसिंह जय लक्ष्मी नरसिंह जय लक्ष्मी नरसिंह जय गौरानिताय 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 जय गौरानिताय जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय गुरुदेव 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 जय जय गुरुदेव नित्य गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल नित्य गौर हरि बोल
Jai Shnupada Paramahamsa Pajaka Acharya Shtota Shata Shishmati Divine Grace Aparachana Vrinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai ISKCON PPTPI Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Jai Shnupada Paramahamsa Pajaka Acharya Shtota Shata Shishmati Divine Grace Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananda Koti Vaishnava Ki Jai Nama Acharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Premise Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Kili Govardhan Ki Jai Shri Vrajabhumi Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Shri Navadvipa Mayapur Dham Ki Jai Shri Purushottam Chetar Jagannath-puri Dham Ki Jai Shri Ayodhya Dham Ki Jai Ganga Mai Ki Jai Yamuna Mai Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai, Tulsi Devi Ki Jai, Samaveta Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai, Shri Madhava Acharya Tirobhava Mahosava Ki Jai, Brahma Madhava Gaudiya Sampradaya Ki Jai, Harinama Sankirtana Ki Jai, Nitai Gaura Premanande Hari Hari. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Namaste Narasimhaya Namaste Narasimhaya Prahlad Ladadayine शीलकङ्कान खालाये इतो न सिंहा परतो न सिंहा यतो यतो यामि ततो न सिंहा बहिर्न सिंहारुधये न सिंहा नरसिंहम् अदीं शरणं प्रपद्ये तव करकमलवरे नाकाम् अद्भुतशृङ्गा दलिता हिरण्यकशिपु तनुभृङ्गा केशवद्रीता नरहरिरूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे केशवद्रीता नरहरिरूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव जय प्रहलाद महाराज जय प्रहलाद महाराज जय प्रहलाद महाराज जय प्रहलाद महाराज जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय गुरुदेव 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 जय जय गुरुदेव भक्ति विघ्न विनाशक नरसिंहदेव भगवान की जय। भक्त शिरोमणि प्रहलाद महाराज की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की
वृंदाय तुलसीदेवाय प्रियाय केशवस्य च विष्णुभक्तिहृदे देवी सत्यवताय नमो नमः वृंदाय तुलसीदेवाय प्रियाय केशवस्य च विष्णुभक्तिहृदे देवी सत्यवताय नमो नमः वृंदाय तुलसीदेवाय प्रियाय केशवस्य च विष्णुभक्तिहृदे देवी सत्यवताय नमो नमः वृंदाय तुलसीदेवाय प्रियाय केशवस्य च विष्णुभक्तिहृदे देवी सत्यवताय नमो नमः वृंदाय तुलसीदेवाय प्रियाय केशवस्य च विष्णुभक्तिहृदे देवी सत्यवताय नमो नमः वृंदा देवी तुलसी महारानी की जय।
नमो नमः तुलसी कृष्ण प्रियासी नमो नमः तुलसी कृष्ण प्रियासी नमो नमः राधा कृष्ण सेवा पावो यही अभिलाषी राधा कृष्ण सेवा पावो यही अभिलाषी ये तो मार शारण लोय तारा वंश पूर्ण होय कृपा कोरी करो तारे वृंदावन वासी मोरा ये अभिलाष विलास कुंज दियो वास नयने हेरी बो सदा युगल रूप रासी यही निवेदना धारो सकीरानुगात करो सेवाधिकार दिए करो निज दासी दीन कृष्ण दास को ये न मोरा होय श्री राधा गोविंद प्रेमे सदा न बासी श्री राधा गोविंद प्रेमे सदा न बासी यानि कानि च पापानि प्रमाद्यादिकानि च तानि तानि प्रणश्यन्ति प्रदक्षिण पदे पदे यानि कानि च पापानि ब्रह्माद्यादिकानि च तानि तानि प्रणश्यन्ति प्रदक्षिण पदे पदे यानि कानि च पापानि ब्रह्माद्यादिकानि च तानि तानि प्रणश्यन्ति प्रदक्षिणा पदे पदे हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय वृंदा देवी जय वृंदा देवी जय वृंदा देवी जय तुलसी महारानी जय तुलसी महारानी जय तुलसी महारानी जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय गुरुदेव जय जय गुरुदेव वृंदे देवी तुलसी देवी महारानी की जय वृंदायै तुलसी देवायै प्रियायै केशवश्च च कृष्ण भक्ति प्रदे देवी सत्यवताय नमो नमः वृंदायै तुलसी देवायै प्रियायै केशवश्च च विष्णु भक्ति प्रदे देवी सत्यवताय नमो नमः वृंदायै तुलसी देवायै प्रियायै केशवश्च च विष्णु भक्ति प्रदे देवी सत्यवताय नमो नमः वृंदे देवी तुलसी देवी महारानी की जय
Precious growth of Shiva and down the Dham. Thus within my vision I shall behold the beautiful pastime of Radha and Krishna. I beg you to make me a follower of Karha Danso's Vraja. Please give me the privileged devotional service and make me your own maidservant. This very fallen and lowly servant of Krishna prays. May I always swim in the love Shri Radha and Govinda. Srimati Tulsi Maharani ki jai. There are 10 fences in the method chant holy names that should be avoided, and they are as follows. 1. To blaspheme the devotees who have dedicated their life for propagating the holy name of the Lord. 2. To consider named demigods like Shiva or Brahma to be equal to independent and named Lord Vishnu. 3. To disobey the orders of spiritual master. 4. To blaspheme the Vedic literature or literature pursuant to Vedic version. 5. To consider glorious chanting Hare Krishna to be imagination. 6. To give some interpretation to holy name of the Lord. 7. To commit sinful activities and strength of chanting the holy name. 8. To consider chanting Hare Krishna one of the auspicious religious activities, offering the Vedas, fruity activities, karma, ganda. 9. To instruct a faithless person about glorious holy name. 10. To not complete faith in the chanting holy names, and to maintain material attachments in understanding so many instructions on this matter. It is also an offense to be inattentive while chanting. Every devotee who claims to Vaishnava must carefully guard against these 10 offenses. In order to quickly achieve desired success, Krishna, Prema. Now let us offer our most humble obeisances unto all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord. They are just as I trees who can fulfill this everyone, and they are full of compassion for the fallen conditioned souls. Shri Chaitanya Shikshastakam ki jai. Jeto darpanamarjanam bhavamahadavagni nirvapanam Shriya Kairavachandrika Vitaranam Vidyavatu Jivanam Anandam Buddhivardhanam Pratipadam Purunamita Swadanam Sarvatmasnapanam Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam Nam Namakari Bahudha Nija Sarva Shaktis Tatrapita Niyamita Smaranena Kalaha Etadrishi Tava Kripa Bhagavam Mamapi Durudaiva Mi Dvisham Iha Janina Nuragaha Trinadapi Sunijena Tarorapi Sahishnuna Amanina Manadena Kirtaniya Sadaharihi Na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim kavitam va jagadisha kamaye mama jammani jammanishvare bhavatat bhaktir haituki tvayi ayinanda tanuja kinkaram patitam man vishame bhavam buddha kripaya tava pada pankaja sthita dhuri satesham vichintaya nayanam galadashru dharaya vadanam katkata rudaya gira Pulakai nichitam vapurokada tava nama grahane bhavishyati Yuga itam nimishena chakshusha pravisha itam Shunya itam jagat sarvam govinda virahe name Ashirishava padaratam pinnashtumam Adarshanam marmhatam karotuva Yatha tatha va vitatahatu lampato mad prana nathastu sa eva na paraha Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Shri Chaitanya Shastakam ki jai. Glory to Shri Krishna Sankirtana, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and distinguishes 5 conditional life, repeated births and deaths. This Sankirtan movement is prime benediction of humanity in large because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss and enables us to fully taste the nectar for which always anxious. O my Lord, your holy name alone grants all benediction of human beings. Thus you have hundreds of millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names, I invested all your transcendental energies. There are not even hard and fast rules for chanting these names. O my Lord, out kindness enables us to easily approach you by holy names, but I am so unfortunate I have no attraction for them. One should chant the holy name of the Lord in humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than a straw in the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and should be ready to offer all respect to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. O Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor do I desire beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers. I only want your causeless devotional service, birth after birth. O Sahamarj Nanda Krishna, I'm your eternal servitor, yet somehow I have fallen into the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and place me as one of the atoms at the lotus feet. O my Lord, while my eyes be decorated with tears of love flowing constantly when I chant the holy name, while my voice choke up, while hairs of my body stand at end, recitation of your name. O Govinda, feeling of separation, I am considering the moment to be like a great millennium. Tears are flowing from eyes like torrents of rain, and I'm feeling all vacant in the world in your absence. I know no one but Krishna as my Lord, and he shall remain so even if he handles me roughly by his embrace, or makes me broken-hearted by not being present before me. He is completely free to do anything and everything, for he is always my worshipable Lord, unconditionally. Shri Chaitanya Shastakam Ki Jai. Shri Mangala Charanam Prayers Ki Jai. Om Jnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshum Litam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Soyam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Ragnatang Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadhuitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakham Vitamscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nivishesha Shunyavadi Pachatya Desha Tarine Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Iti Namine Shri Varshabhani Videvi Daitaya Kripaptaye Krishna Sambandha Vijnana Dayine Prabhave Namaha Madhuryo Jala Premadya Shri Rupa Nuka Bhaktita Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namostute Namaste Gauravani Shri Murtaye Dina Darine Rupa Nuka Virudapa Siddhanta Dvantaharine Namo Gaura Kishoraya Sakshad Vairagya Murtaye Vipralambara Sambodhe Padam Pujayate Namaha Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Sachidananda Namine Gaura Shakti Swarupaya Rupanuga Varayate Gaura Virabhava Bhumestvam Nirdishta Sajanapriyaha Vaishnava Savarabhama Shri Jaganathaya Te Namaha Vancha Kalpatarupyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhevacha Patitanam Pavnebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Padayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratishe Namaha Panchatattvatmakam Krishna Bhakta Rupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakham Namami Bhakta Shaktikam He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagapate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Jayatam Srato Pango Mamamanda Materkati Masarvasva Padam Bojo Radha Madana Mohano Divya Vrindarana Kalpadumadash Shrimad Ranagara Singhasanasto Shrimad Radha Shila Govinda Devo Prishtaripi Sevyamano Smarami Shriman Rasa Rasarambi Vamshivata Tatastitaha Karsham Venu Saner Gopir Gopinatha Shriyestunaha Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanusate Devi Panamami Hari Priye Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Shri Mangala Charanam Prayers Ki Jai. Shri Brahma Samhita Ki Jai. So we'll recite all the Govinda prayers today. Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadya Radya Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam Chintamani Parakarasat Masukalpa Viksha Lakshavriteshu Surabi Rabi Palayantam Lakshmi Sahasa Shatasam Paramasevyamanam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Pajami เวนุงขวันันตมรวินเดตลายตาชัมปารหาวตัมสมสิตัมปุตตสุนตรังกัมกันตารภโกติกมณียวิเศษโชปัมโกวินดมาดิพุรุชัมธรรมหัมปจามิอาโลลชันตคลสวนามาเรวัมชิรานังกตัมปนยเกลิคลาวิลาสัมชามัมเทปังกลลิตัมยตประกาชัมโกวินดมาดิพุรุชัมธรรมหัมปจามิอังกานิยัสสะสกเลนติยริติมันติปชันติปันติขลยันติจิรัมจักันติอานันตชิมมสตุจลวิกรหัสสะโกวินดมาดิพุรุชัมธรรมหัมปจามิอตุยตัมอโชตมนาติมนันตรูปัมอาเตียมปุราณพุรุชัมนวโยวนัมจาเวเตชุตุลปัมอตุลปัมอาตมปักโตโกวินดมาดิพุรุชัมธรรมหัมปจามิปันทาสตุโคติชตวัสสรสัมปรกามิววายุรธาพิมานโสมุนิปังกวานัมโสเปียสติยปปตัสสิมยวิจินตตัตเวโกวินดมาดิพุรุชัมธรรมหัมปจามิเอโคเปียสรจยิทุมจักตันตโคติมยาจักติรัสติจักตันทชยายตันตหะอันตันทรัสทะปรมานุชยังตรัสธัมโกวินดมาดิพุรุชัมธรรมหัมปจามิยัดภาวภาวิตติโยมนุจาสเทวะสัมปราพยรูปมหิมาสนยานปูชาสุขเทยัมเอวนิกมปฏิตายสตุวันติโกวินดมาดิพุรุชัมธรรมหัมปจามิอานันตชิมรสปฏิภาวิตาปิสตาปิยเอวันจรูปตยาคลาปิหิโกโลกเอวนิวัสสะเทคิลาธมปูโตโกวินดมาดิพุรุชัมธรรมหัมปจามิปริมันจนะชรุตภักติวิโลชเนนะสันตสเตวะหิตเยชุวิโลกยันติยัมชามสุนดมชินเตกุณสวรูปัมโกวินดมาดิพุรุชัมธรรมหัมปจามิรามาดิมุติชุขลานิยเมนทิชตันนานาวทารมคโรตปุวนิชุคินตุคริชนาสวยัมสมปวัตพรมภุมามโยโกวินดมาดิพุรุชัมธรรมหัมปจามิยัสสะพระปาปะปะวะโตจักตันตโคติชเชชวิสุทธาติวิบูติปินัมทัตปรมานิชกลัมอนันตมเชชภูตัมโกวินดมาดิพุรุชัมธรรมหัมปจามิมายาหิยัสสะจักตันทชทานิสุเตทากุญญทัตวิชยเวตาวิตายมานะสัตวาวลัมปิภรสัตวัมวิชุตสัตวัมโกวินดมาดิพุรุชัมธรรมหัมปจามิอานันตชิมรสัตมัทยมนสุยาพรานินามปฏิพลังสมรตังวิเปตยลีลาอิเตนะภวนานิจยจัสรัมโกวินดมาดิพุรุชัมธรรมหัมปจามิโกโลกนามนิจตามนิทะเลชทัสสะเตวิมเหชหริตามสุเทชุเทชุเตเทประปาวันชยาวิหิตาสเยนะโกวินดมาดิพุรุชัมธรรมหัมปจามิสุชติสติธิพลายสาตนะชักเทเรกาชาเยวยัสสะปุวนานิปิปาร์ติตุกาอิชานรูปัมเพียสเชสเทสาโกวินดมาดิพุรุชัมธรรมหัมปจามิक्षीरम यथा तति विकार विशेष योगात् संजायते न हि तथा पितकस्ति हेतोः यशां पुथम अपि तथा समुपैति कार्यात् गोविन्दमादि पुरुषं तमहं पचामि दीपार्च एव हि तशां धर्म अभ्युपेत्य दीपायते विवृत हेतु समान धर्मा यस्थात्विक एव हि च विष्णुतया विभाति गोविन्दमादि पुरुषं तमहं पचामि यकारणार्णवचले पचति स्म योग निद्रामनन्त जगदन्त सरोमकूपः आधारशक्तिमवलम्ब्य परां स्वमूर्तिं गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि यस्याैकनिश्वसितकालमतावलम्ब्य जीवन्ति लोमविरजा जगदन्तनाथः विष्णुमहांस इह यस्य कलाविशेषो गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि पास्वां यथाश्म शकलेषु निचेषु ते च स्वीयं खियप्रकथयत्यपि तद्वतत्र प्रमाय एष जगदन्तवितानकर्ता गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि यत्पादफलवयोगं विनिताय कुम्भद्वन्द्वे प्रणामसमये सकनादिराजः विघ्नं विहन्तुमलम् अस्य जगत्त्रयस्य गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि Agnir Mahi Gaganam Ambu Marutisha Kalas Tathatma Manasiti Jagatrayani Yasma Bhavanti Vibhavanti Vishanti Yamcha Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Ya Chaksha Esha Savita Sakala Grahanam Raja Samasta Suramurtir Ashesha Teja Yasyajna Brahmati Sambrita Kala Chakro Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Dharmo Tapapa Nichaya Shutayasta Pamsi Brahmadi Kita Patagava Dayascha Jivaha Yadata Matra Vibhava Pakata Prabhava Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Yastrinda Gopa Matarinda Mahosa Karma Bandana Rupa Palabajanam Adanoti Karmani Nirta Hatikintu Cha Bhakti Bhajam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Yam Krota Kama Sahaja Panayadi Biti Vasa de Moha Guru Gaurava Sevya Bhaivehi Sanchintya Tasya Satvishin Tanum Apurete Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Shriya Kanta Kanta Parama Purusha Kaupataravo Duruma Bhumi Chintamani Ganamayi Toyam Amritam Katha Ganam Natyam Gamanam Mampi Vamshi Priyasaki Chidanandam Jyotir Param Api Tada Swadyam Apicha Sayatra Kshirabdi Sarvati Surabi Piyascha Sumahan Nimeshar Darkyuva Vrajati Nahi Yatrapi Samayaha Pajeshri Tadvipam Tamaham Iha Golokam Itiyam Vedantaste Santakshti Virlachara Katipaye Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadya Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. Krishna, who is not Govinda, the Supreme Godhead, has internal blissful spiritual body. He is the origin of all. He has no other origin and is the prime cause of all causes.
I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, the first progenitor who is tending the cows, yielding all desire in abodes built with spiritual gems, surrounded by millions of purpose trees, always served with great reverence and affection by hundreds of thousands of Lakshmis or Gopis.
I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who is adept in playing on his flute, with blooming eyes like lotus petals, with head decked with peacock's feather, with a figure of beauty tinged with the hue of blue clouds, and his unique loveliness charming millions of cupids.
I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, round whose neck is swinging a garland of flowers, beautified with moon locket, whose two hands are adorned with flute and jeweled ornaments, who always revels in pastimes of love, whose graceful threefold bending form of Shamasundara is eternally manifest.
I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, whose transcendental form is full of bliss, truth, substantiality, and thus full of the most dazzling splendor. Each of the limbs of that transcendental figure possesses himself the full-fledged functions of all the organs, and eternally sees, maintains, and manifests the infinite universes, both spiritual and mundane.
I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who is inaccessible to the Vedas but obtainable by pure unalloyed devotion of the soul, who is without a second, who is not subject to decay. He is without a beginning, whose form is endless, who is the beginning and the eternal Purusha. Yet he is a person possessing the beauty of blooming youth.
I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, only the tip of the toe of whose lotus feet is approached by the yogis, who aspire after the transcendental and betake themselves to pranayama by drilling the respiration. All but the jnanis who try to figure out the non-differentiated Brahman by the process of elimination of the mundane, extending over thousands and millions of years.
He is an undifferentiated entity, as there is no distinction between potency and the possessor thereof. In his work of creation of millions of worlds, his potency remains inseparable. All the universes exist in him, and he is present in his fullness in every one of the atoms that are scattered throughout the universe at one and the same time. Such is the primeval Lord whom I adore.
I adore the same Govinda, the primeval Lord, in whose praise men, who are imbued with devotion, sing the mantra suktas taught by the Vedas, by gaining the appropriate beauty, greatness, thrones, conveniences, and ornaments.
I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, residing in his own realm, Goloka, with Radha resembling his own spiritual figure, the embodiment of the ecstatic potency possessed of the 64 artistic activities in the company of her confidant Sakis, embodiments of the extensions of her bodily form, permeated and vitalized by his ever blissful spiritual rasa.
I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who is Shyamasundar, Krishna himself, with inconceivable, innumerable attributes, whom the pure devotees see in the heart of hearts with the eye of devotion, tinged with the salt of love.
I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who manifested himself personally as Krishna and the different avatars in the world in the forms of Rama, Nrsimha, Vamana, etc. as his subjective portions. Sri Brahma Samhita ki jai. Bhagavad Gita 7.1 purport. शृण्वतां स्वकथा कृष्ण पुण्यश्रवणकीर्तनः हृदयन्ता हि सो हि अभद्राणि विद्नोति सुहृत्सतं नष्टप्रयस्व अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैस्तिकी तदा राजास्तमो भावा कामालोभादयाश्च ये चेतयेतररावेदं स्थितं सत्त्वे प्रसीदति एवं प्रसन्नमनसो भगवद्भक्तियोगतः भगवत्तत्त्वविज्ञानं मुक्तसङ्गश्च जायते विद्यते हृदयग्रन्थेश्चिद्यन्ते सर्वसंशयाः क्षीयन्ते च कर्माणि दृष्टा एवात्मनीश्वरे. To hear about Krishna from Vedic literatures or to hear from him directly through the Bhagavad Gita is itself righteous activity. And for one who hears about Krishna, Lord Krishna, who is dwelling in everyone's heart, acts as a best wishing friend and purifies the devotee who constantly engages in hearing of him. In this way, a devotee naturally develops his dormant transcendental knowledge. As he hears more about Krishna from the Bhagavatam and from the devotees, he becomes fixed in the devotional service of the Lord. By development of devotional service, one becomes free from the modes of passion and ignorance, and thus material lust and avarice are diminished. When these impurities are wiped away, the candidate remains steady in his position of pure goodness, becomes enlivened by devotional service, and understands the science of God perfectly. Thus, Bhakti Yoga severs the hard knot of material affection and enables one to commit once to the stage of asamsayam samagram, understanding of the supreme absolute truth, personality of Godhead. Bhagavatam 1.2.17 to 21. Therefore, only by hearing from Krishna or from his devotee in Krishna consciousness can one understand the science of Krishna. Hare Krishna. We'll continue reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 6, Text 9. Sadhyatmataha sadidhaivascha sadibhuta iti drida virat prano dasa vidha ekadha hrudayena cha sa adhyatmaha, the body and mind with all the senses, sa adidhaivaha, and the controlling demigods of the senses, cha, and sa adibhutaha, the present objectives, iti, thus, tridha, three, virat, gigantic, pranaha, moving force, dasa vidaha, 10 kinds, ekada, one only, hridayena, living energy, cha, also. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The gigantic universal form is represented by 3, 10 and 1 in the sense that he is the body and the mind and the senses. He is the dynamic force for all movements by 10 kinds of life energy, and he is the one heart where life energy is generated. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. In Bhagavad Gita 7.4 to 5, it is stated that the 8 elements, earth, water, fire, air, sky, mind, intelligence and false ego, are all products of the Lord's inferior energy. Whereas the living entities who are seen to utilize the inferior energy originally belong to the superior energy, the internal potency of the Lord. The 8 inferior energies work grossly and subtly, whereas the superior energy works as the central generating force. This is experienced in the human body. The gross elements, namely earth, etc., form the external gross body and are like a coat, whereas the subtle mind and false ego act like the inner clothing of the body. The movements of the body are first generated from the heart, and all the activities of the body are made possible by the senses, powered by the 10 kinds of air within the body. The 10 kinds of air are described as follows. The main air passing through the nose in breathing is called prana. The air which passes through the rectum as evacuated bodily air is called apana. The air which adjusts the foodstuff within the stomach and which sometimes sounds as belching is called samana. The air which passes through the throat and the stoppage of which constitutes suffocation is called the udana air, and the total air which circulates throughout the entire body is called the vyana air. Subtler than these 5 airs, there are others also. That which facilitates the opening of the eyes, mouth, etc. is called naga air. The air which increases appetite is called krakara air. The air which helps contraction is called kurma air. The air which helps relaxation by opening the mouth wide in yawning is called devadatta air. And the air which helps sustenance is called dhananjaya air. All these airs are generated from the center of the heart, which is one only. This central energy is superior energy of the Lord, who is seated within the heart with the soul of the body, which acts under the guidance of the Lord. This is explained in Bhagavad Gita 15.15 as follows. Sarvasya chaham hridhi sannivishto matta smritir jnanam apohanam cha Vedaischa aham eva vedyo Vedanta krit veda vid eva chaham. The complete central force is generated from the heart by the Lord, who is seated there and who helps the conditioned soul in remembering and forgetting. The conditioned state is due to the soul's forgetfulness of his relationship of subordination to the Lord. One who wants to continue to forget the Lord is helped by the Lord to forget him birth after birth. But one who remembers him by dint of association with the devotee of the Lord is helped to remember him more and more. Thus, a conditioned soul can ultimately go back to Godhead. This process of transcendental help by the Lord is described in Bhagavad Gita 10.10 as follows. Tesam satatayuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dathami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayanti te. The buddhi yoga process of self-realization with intelligence transcendental of the mind to the mind, devotional service can alone elevate one from the conditioned state of material entanglement in the cosmic construction. The conditioned state of the living entity is like that of a person who is within the depths of a huge mechanical arrangement. The mental speculators can reach the point of Buddhi Yoga after many, many lifetimes of speculation. But the intelligent person who begins from the platform of intelligence above the mind takes rapid progress in self-realization. Because the Buddhi Yoga process entails no fear of deterioration or retrogression at any time, it is a guaranteed path to self-realization as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 2.40. The mental speculators cannot understand that the two birds, Svatara Upanishad, sitting in one tree are the soul and the super soul. The individual soul eats the fruit of the tree, while the other bird does not eat the fruit but only observes the activities of the eating bird. Without attachment, the witnessing bird helps the fruit eating bird perform fruitful activities. One who cannot understand this difference between the soul and the super soul, or God and the living entities, is certainly still in the entanglement of the cosmic machinery and thus must still await the time when he will be free from bondage. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 6, Text 10. Smaran Vishwasrijam Isho Vignapitam Adokshajaham Virajam Atapatsvena Teja Saisam Vivrittaye. Smaran, remembering Vishwasrijam of the demigods entrusted with the task of cosmic construction. Isha, the Supreme Lord. Vignapitam, as he was prayed for. Adokshajaha, the transcendence. Virajam, the gigantic universal form. Atapat, considered thus. Svena, by his own. Tejasa, energy. Esham, for them. Vivrittaye, for understanding. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The Supreme Lord is the super soul of all the demigods entrusted with the task of constructing the cosmic manifestation. Being thus prayed to by the demigods, he thought to himself and thus manifested the gigantic form for their understanding. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The impersonalists are captivated by the gigantic universal form of the Supreme. They think that the control behind this gigantic manifestation is imagination. Intelligent persons, however, can estimate the value of the cause by observing the wonders of the effects. For example, the individual human body does not develop from the womb of the mother independently, but because the living entity, the soul, is within the body. Without the living entity, a material body cannot automatically take shape or develop. When any material object displays development, it must be understood that there is a spirit soul within the manifestation. The gigantic universe has developed gradually, just as the body of a child develops. The conception that the transcendence enters within the universe is therefore logical. As the materialists cannot find the soul and the super soul within the heart, similarly, for want of sufficient knowledge, they cannot see that the supreme soul is the cause of the universe. The Lord is therefore described in the Vedic language as Avan Manasa Gocharaha, beyond the conception of words and minds. Due to a poor fund of knowledge, the mental speculators try to bring the Supreme within the purview of words and minds. But the Lord refused to be so intelligible. The speculator has no adequate words or minds to gauge the infinity of the Lord. The Lord is called Adokshaja, or the person who is beyond perception by the blunt, limited potency of our senses. One cannot perceive the transcendental name or form of the Lord by the mental speculation. The mundane PhDs are completely unable to speculate on the supreme with their limited senses. Such attempts by the puffed up PhDs are compared to the philosophy of the frog in the well. A frog in a well was informed of the gigantic Pacific Ocean, and he began to puff himself up in order to understand or measure the length and breadth of the Pacific Ocean. Ultimately, the frog burst and died. The title PhD can also be interpreted as plough department, a title meant for the tillers in the paddy field. The attempt of the tillers in the paddy field to understand the cosmic manifestation and the cause behind such wonderful work can be compared to the endeavor of the frog in the well to calculate the measurement of the Pacific Ocean. The Lord can reveal himself only to a person who is submissive and who engages in his transcendental loving service. The demigods controlling the elements and ingredients of material universal affairs prayed to the Lord for guidance, and thus he manifested his gigantic form as he did at the request of Arjuna.
Text 11, Canto 3, Chapter 6. Atatasya bitaptasya khatidayatananiha nirabidyanta devanam tani me gadata shrunu. Atha, therefore, tasya, his, abhi taptasya, in terms of his contemplation, katida, how many ayatanani, embodiments, there were, nirabidyanta, by separated parts, devanam, of the demigods, tani, all those, me gadataha, described by me, shrunu, just hear. Maitreya said, how you may now hear from me how the Supreme Lord separated himself into the diverse forms of the demigods after the manifestation of the gigantic universal form. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The demigods are separated parts and parcels of the Supreme Lord, as are all other living entities. The only difference between the demigods and the ordinary living entities is that when the living entities are rich in pious acts of devotional service to the Lord, and when their desire to lord it over material nature has vanished, they are promoted to the post of demigods, who are entrusted by the Lord with executing the management of universal affairs. Text 12, Canto 3, Chapter 6. Tasyagnirasyam nirbinnam lokapalo vishatpadam vacha swamshina vaktavyam yayasau pratipadyate. Tasya, his, agni, fire, asyam, mouth, nirbinnam, thus separated, lokapalaha, the directors of material affairs, avisat, entered, padam, respective positions, vacha, by words, swaamshena, by one's own part, Vaktavyam, speeches, ya, by which, asau, they, pratipadyate, express. Translation: Agni, or heat, separated from his mouth, and all the directors of material affairs entered into in their respective positions. By that energy, the living entity expresses himself in words. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Commentary. This one. Purport. Purport. Purport is small. Come, you can do it.
Purport.
Yes. The mouth of gigantic universal form.
The mouth of gigantic universal form of the Lord is the source. Of the Lord is the source of the speaking power, the director of the fire element is the controlling deity, or the Adilaiva, the speeches delivered are Adhyatma, or bodily functions And the subject matter of the speeches is material productions or the Adibhuta principle.
Text 13, Canto 3, Chapter 6. Nirbhinnam talu varuno lokapalo vishaddarehi jihvayam sena charasam yayasau pratipadyate. Nirbhinnam, separated. Thalu, palate. Varunaha, the deity controlling water. Lokapalaha, director of the planets. Avisat entered, Hare of the Lord. Jihvaya amsena, with the pot of the tongue. Cha also. Rasam tastes, Jaya, by which. Aso, the living entity. Pratipadyate, expresses. Translation. When the palate of the gigantic form was separately manifested, Varuna, the director of air in the planetary systems, entered therein, and thus the living entity has a facility to taste everything with his tongue. Text 14. Nirbhinne Ashvinau Nase Vishnu Ravisatam Padam Graninam Sena Gandhasya Pratipatti Yato Bhavet. Nirbhinne, thus being separated. Ashvinau, the dual Ashwinis. Nase are the two nostrils. Vishnu of the Lord. Avisatam, entering. Padam, post. Granena amsena, by partially smelling. Gandhasya, aroma. Pratipatti, experience. Yataha, whereupon. Bhavet, becomes. Translation. When the Lord's two nostrils separately manifested themselves, the dual Ashwini Kumaras entered them in their proper position. And because of this, the living entities can smell the aromas of everything. Text 15. Nirbhinne akshini tvashta lokapalo vishad vibhoh chakshu samsena rupanam pratipatti yato bhavet. Nirbhinne, thus being separated. Akshini, the eyes. Tvashta, the sun. Lokapala, director of the light. Avisat, entered. Vibho, of the great. Chakshusa, amsena, by the part of the eyesight. Rupanam, of the forms. Pratipatti, experience. Yataha, by which. Bhavet, becomes. Translation.
One more thing until we go to.
You want to read this one? You want to read the next? Translation. You want to read translation? Yeah. Thereafter, the two eyes of the gigantic form of the Lord were separately manifested. The sun, the director of the light, entered them with a partial representation of eyesight, and thus the living entities can have vision of forms. Text 16. Nirbhinnani asya charmani lokapalo nilo visat praninam shena samsparsham yenashu pratipadyate. Nirbhinnani, being separated. Asya, of the gigantic form. Charmani, skin. Lokapala, the director. Anilah, air. Avisat, entered. Pranena amsena, the part of the breathing. Samsparsham, touch. Yena, by which. Asau, the living entity. Pratipadyate, can experience. Translation. When there was a manifestation of skin separated from the gigantic form Anila, the deity directing the wind, entered with partial touch, and thus the living entities can realize tactile knowledge. Text 17. Karnau asya vinirbhinnau disnyam swam vivishur dishaha shrotrinam shena shabdasya siddhim yena prapadyate. Karnau, the ears. Asya, of the gigantic form. Vinirbhinnau, being thus separated. Disnyam, the controlling deity. Swam, own. Vivishu entered Disha of the direction, Shrotrena Amshena, with the hearing principles, Sabdasya of the sound, Siddhim, perfection, Ena, by which Prapadyate is experienced. Translation: when the ears of the gigantic form became manifested, all the controlling deities of the directions entered into them with the hearing principles, by which all the living entities hear and take advantage of sound. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The ear is the most important instrument in the body of the living entity. Sound is the most important medium for carrying the message of distant and unknown things. The perfection of all sound or knowledge enters through the ear and makes one's life perfect. The entire Vedic system of knowledge is received by oral reception only, and thus sound is the most important source of knowledge. Text 18. त्वचमस्य विनिर्भिन्नं विविशुद्धिष्ण्यम् ओषधीः अंसेन रोमभिः खन्दुं यैरसौ प्रतिपद्यते. Tvacham, skin, asya of the gigantic form, Vinirbinnam, being separately manifested, Vivishu entered, Disnyam, the controlling deity, Osadihi, sensations, Amsena with parts, Romabihi, through the hairs on the body, Khandum, itching, Yai, by which Asau, the living entity, Pratipadyate, experiences. Translation: when there was a separate manifestation of skin, the controlling deities of sensations and their different parts entered into it, and thus the living entities feel itching and happiness due to touch. For sense perception, purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. For sense perception, there are two principal items, touch and itching, and both of them are controlled by the skin and hairs on the body. According to Sri Vishwanatha Chakravarti, the controlling deity of touch is the air passing within the body. The controlling deity of the hairs on the body is Osadhya. For the skin, the object of perception is touch, and for the hairs on the body, the object of perception is itching. Text 19. Medram tasya vinirbinnam swadhisnyam ka upavisat retasam ena sao anandam pratipadyate. Medram, genitals, tasya of the gigantic form, vinirbinnam, being separated, swadhisnyam, own position, kha, Brahma, the original living creature, upavishat, entered, retasa amsena, with the part of the semen, ena, by which, asau, the living entity, anandam, sex pleasure, pratipadyate, experiences. Translation: when the genitals of the gigantic form separately became manifest, then Prajapati, the original living creature, entered into them with his partial semen, and thus the living entities can enjoy sex pleasure. Text 20. Gudam pumso vinirbinnam mitro lokesha avishat payunam sena enashau visargam pratipadyate. Gudam, evacuating outlet. Pumsaha, of the gigantic form, Vinirbinnam, being separately manifested, Mitra, the sun god, Loka Ishaha, the director named Mitra, Avisat, entered, Payuna Amsena, with a partial evacuation process, Yena, by which, Asau, the living entity, Visargam, evacuation, Pratipadyate, performs. Translation: the evacuating channel separately became manifest, and the director named Mitra entered into it with partial organs of evacuation. Thus, the living entities are able to pass stool and urine. Text 21. Hastau asya vinirbinnau indra swarpati avishat varthayam sena purusho yaya vrittim prapadyate. Hastau, hands, asya, the gigantic form, vinirbinnau, being separately manifested, Indra, the king of heaven, Swapati, the ruler of heavenly planets, Avisat, entered into it, Vartaya Amsena, with the partial mercantile principle, Purusha, the living entity, Yaya, by which Vrittim, business of livelihood, Prapadyate, transacts. Translation. Thereafter, when the hands of the gigantic form separately became manifested, Indra, the ruler of the heavenly planets, entered into them, and thus the living entity is able to transact business for his livelihood. Text 22. Padau asya vinirbinnau lokesho vishnuravisat gatya swam sena purusho yaya prapyam prapadyate. Padu, the legs, asya, the gigantic form, vinirbinnau, being manifested separately, Loka Isha Vishnu, the demigods Vishnu, not the personality of Godhead. Avisat, entered Gatyad by the power of movement. Swamshena, with his own parts. Purusha, living entity. Yaya, by which. Prapyam, destination. Prapadyate, reaches. Translation. Thereafter, the legs of the gigantic form separately became manifest, and the demigod named Vishnu, not the personality of Godhead, entered with partial movement. This helps the living entity move to his destination. Text 23. Buddhim chasya vinirbinnam vagisho dishnam avisat bodhinam shena bodhavyam pratipatti yato bhavet. Buddhim, intelligence, cha, also, asya, of the gigantic form, vinirbinnam, being separately manifested, vak, isha, Brahma, lord of the Vedas, disnyam, the controlling power, avisat, entered in, bodhina, amshena, with his part of the intelligence, bodhavyam, the matter of understanding, pratipatti, understood, yataha, by which, bhavet, so becomes. Translation. When the intelligence of the gigantic form separately became manifest, Brahma, the Lord of the Vedas, entered into it with the partial power of understanding, and thus an object of understanding is experienced by the living entities. Text 24. Hridayam chasya nirbinnam chandramadisnyam avisat mana samsena yenashau vikriyam pratipadyate. Hridayam, heart, cha, also, asya, of the gigantic form, nirbinnam, being manifested separately, Chandrama, the moon demigod, disnyam, with controlling power, avisat, entered into, manasa amsena, partly with mental activity, yena, by which, asau, the living entity, Vikriyam, resolution, pratipadyate, transacts. Translation. After that, the heart of the gigantic form separately manifested itself, and into it entered the moon demigod with partial mental activity. Thus, the living entity can conduct his mental speculations. Text 25. Atmanam chasya nirbinnam abhimano vishatpadam karmanam shena yenashau kartavyam pratipadyate. Atmanam, false ego, cha, also, asya, of the gigantic form, nirbinnam, being separately manifested, abhimana, false identification, avisat, entered, padam, in position, karmana, activities, amsena, by the part, yena, by which, asau, the living entity, kartavyam, objective activities, pratipadyate, takes in. Translation. Thereafter, the materialistic ego of the gigantic form separately manifested itself, and into it entered Rudra, the controller of false ego, with his own partial activities by which the living entity transacts his objective actions. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The false ego of materialistic identity is controlled by the demigod Rudra, an incarnation of Lord Shiva. Rudra is an incarnation of the Supreme Lord who controls the mode of ignorance within the material nature. The activities of the false ego are based on the objective of the body and mind. Most persons conducted by the false ego are controlled by the Lord Shiva. When one reaches a finer version of ignorance, he falsely thinks of himself as a Supreme Lord. That egoistic conviction of the conditioned soul is a lost snare of the illusory energy which controls the entire material world. Text 26. Sattvam chasya virbinnam mahan dhisnyam upavishat chittinam sena enashau vijnanam pratipadyate. Sattvam, consciousness, cha, also, asya, the gigantic form, Vinirbinnam, being separately manifested, Mahan, the total energy, Mahatattva, Dhisnyam, with control, Upavisad, entered into, Chittena, Amsena, along with its part of consciousness, Ena, by which Asau, the living entity, Vijnanam, specific knowledge, Pratipadyate, cultivates. Translation: thereafter, when his consciousness separately manifested itself, the total energy, Mahatattva, entered with his conscious part. Thus, the living entity is able to conceive specific knowledge. Text 27. Sirshnosya jayurdara padyam kham naber udapadyata gunanam vrittayo yeshu pratiyante suradayah. Sirshna, head, Asya, the gigantic form, Dhyau, the heavenly planets, Dara, earthly planets, Padbyam, and his legs, Kham, the sky, Nabe, from the abdomen, Udapadyata, became manifested, Gunanam, of the three modes of nature, Vrittayaha, reaction, Yesu, in which, Pratiyante, manifest, Suradayaha, the demigods and others. Translation: thereafter, from the head of the gigantic form, the heavenly planets were manifested, and from his legs, the earthly planets, and from his abdomen, the sky separately manifested themselves. Within them, the demigods and others also were manifested in terms of the modes of material nature. Text 28. Atyantikena satvena daivam deva prapedire dharam raja swabhavena prayo yecha tananu. Atyantikena, excessive, satvena, by the mode of goodness, daivam, in the higher planets, devaha, the demigods, prapedire, have been situated, dharam, on the earth, raja, the mode of passion, swabhavena, by nature, panaya, the human being, ye, all those, cha, also, than, there, anu, subordinate. Translation: the demigods, qualified by the super excellent quality of the mode of goodness, are situated in the heavenly planets, whereas the human beings, because of their nature in the mode of passion, live on the earth in company with their subordinates. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. In Bhagavad Gita 14.14-15, it is said that those who are highly developed in the mode of goodness are promoted to the higher heavenly planetary system, and those who are overpowered by the mode of passion are situated in the middle planetary system, the earth and similar planets. But those who are surcharged with the mode of ignorance are degraded to the lower planetary systems or to the animal kingdom. The demigods are highly developed in the mode of goodness, and thus they are situated in the heavenly planets. Below human beings are the animals, although some of them mingle with human society. Cows, horses, dogs, etc., are habituated to living under the protection of human beings. The word Atyantikena is very significant in this verse. By development of the mode of goodness of material nature, one can become situated in the heavenly planets. But by excessive development of the modes of passion and ignorance, the human beings indulges in killing the animals who are meant to be protected by mankind. Persons who indulge in unnecessary animal killing have excessively developed in the mode of passion and ignorance and have no hope of advancing to the mode of goodness. They are destined to be degraded to lower statuses of life. The planetary system are calculated as upper and lower in terms of the classes of living entities who live there. Text 29. तार्त्येन स्वभावेन भगवान्नाभिम् आश्रिताः उभयोरन्तरं व्योमा ये रुद्रा parshadam ganaha. Tatyena, by excessive development of the third mode of material nature, the mode of ignorance. Swabhavena, by such nature. Bhagavat Nabim, the abdominal navel of the gigantic form of the personality of Godhead. Ashritaha, those who are situated. Ubayo, between the two. Antaram, in between. Vyoma, the sky. All of whom. Rudra, Parshadam, associates of Rudra. Ganaha, population. Translation: living entities who are associates of Rudra develop in the third mode of material nature, or ignorance. They are situated in the sky between the earthly planets and the heavenly planets. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. This middle portion of the sky is called Bhuvarloka, as confirmed by both Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti and Srila Jiva Goswami. In Bhagavad Gita, it is stated that those who develop in the mode of passion are situated in the middle region. Those who are situated in the mode of goodness are promoted to the region of the demigods. Those who are situated in the mode of passion are placed in human society, and those who are situated in the mode of ignorance are placed in the society of animals or ghosts. There are no contradictions in this conclusion. Numerous living entities are distributed all over the universe in different planets and are situated in terms of their own qualities in the modes of material nature. Text 30. Mukato vartata brahma purushasya kurudvaha yastun mukhatvad varnanam mukyo brahmano guru. Mukata, from the mouth, avartata, generated, Brahma, the Vedic wisdom, Purushasya, of the Virat Purusha, the gigantic form, Kuru Udvaha, O chief of the Kuru dynasty, Yah, who are, Tu, due to, Anmukatvat, inclined to, Varnanam, of the orders of society, Mukhya, the chief, Abhut, so became, Brahmana, called the Brahmanas, Guru, the recognized teacher or spiritual master. Translation: O chief of the Guru dynasty, the Vedic wisdom became manifested from the mouth of the Virat, the gigantic form. Those who are inclined to this Vedic knowledge are called Brahmanas, and they are the natural teachers and spiritual masters of all the orders of society. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. As confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 4.13, the four orders of human society developed with the order of the body of the gigantic form. The bodily divisions are the mouth, arms, waist, and legs. Those who are situated on the mouth are called Brahmanas. Those who are situated on the arms are called Kshatriyas. Those who are situated on the waist are called Vaishyas. And those who are situated on the legs are called Sudras. Everyone is situated in the body of the Supreme in his gigantic Vishwarupa form. In terms of the four orders, therefore, no caste is to be considered degraded because of being situated in a particular part of the body. In our own bodies, we do not show any actual difference in our treatment towards the hands or legs. Each and every part of the body is important. Although the mouth is the most important of the bodily parts. If other parts are cut off from the body, a man can continue his life. But if the mouth is cut off, one cannot live. Therefore, this most important part of the body of the Lord is called the sitting place of the Brahmanas, who are inclined to the Vedic wisdom. One who is not inclined to the Vedic wisdom but to mundane affairs cannot be called a Brahmana, even if he is born of a Brahmana family or father. To have a Brahmana father does not qualify one as a Brahmana. The main qualification of a Brahmana is to be inclined to the Vedic wisdom. The Vedas are situated on the mouth of the Lord, and therefore anyone who is inclined to the Vedic wisdom is certainly situated in the mouth of the Lord, and he is a Brahmana. This inclination towards Vedic wisdom is also not restricted to any particular caste or community. Anyone from any family and from any part of the world may become inclined to the Vedic wisdom, and that will qualify him as a real Brahmana. A real Brahmana is a natural teacher or spiritual master. Unless one has Vedic knowledge, one cannot become a spiritual master. The perfect knowledge of the Vedas is to know the Lord, the personality of Godhead, and that is the end of Vedic knowledge or Vedanta. One who is situated in the impersonal Brahman and has no information of the Supreme Personality of Godhead may become a Brahmana, but he cannot become a spiritual master. It is said in the Padma Purana, Satkarma Nipuno Vipro Mantra Tantra Visharadaha Avaishnavo Guru Nasya Vaishnava Swapacho Guru. An impersonalist can become a qualified Brahmana, but he cannot become a spiritual master unless and until he is promoted to the stage of Vaishnava or a devotee of the personality of Godhead. Lord Chaitanya, the great authority of Vedic wisdom in the modern age, stated, Kiba Vipra Kiba Nyasi Sudra Kininaya Yai Krishna Tattva Veta Sai Guru Haya. A person may be a Brahmana or a Sudra or a sannyasi, but if he happens to be well versed in the science of Krishna, then he is fit to become a spiritual master. Look at the clock.
I can't tell the time.
You can look at the clock.
No, I can't tell.
Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 8.128. The qualification then of a spiritual master is not to be a qualified Brahmana, but to be well versed in the science of Krishna. One who is conversant with Vedic wisdom is a Brahmana, and only a Brahmana who is a pure Vaishnava and knows all the intricacies of the science of Krishna can become a spiritual master. Okay, we're going to start with the. Can you bring the Guru Puja stuff? We're going to leave home. Go home. Bring the Guru Puja. It's 7:15. Yeah, I'm going to read the last one. We're going to go. Text 31. Bahyubhyo vertata kshetram kshatriyastadanuvrataha yo jatastrayate varnan paurusha kantaka kshatat. Bahubhya, from the arms. Avartata, generated. Kshetram, the power of protection. Kshatriya, in relation to the power of protection. Tat, that. Anuvrataha, followers. Yah, one who. Jata, so become. Trayata, delivers. Varnan, the other occupation. Paurusha, representative of the personality of Godhead. Kantaka, of disturbing elements like thieves and debauches. Kshatat, from the mischief. Translation. Thereafter, the power of protection was generated from the arms of the gigantic Virat form. And in relation to such power, the Kshatriyas also came into existence by following the Kshatriya principle of protecting society from the disturbance of thieves and miscreants. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. As the Brahmanas are recognized by their particular qualification of inclination towards the transcendental knowledge of Vedic wisdom, so also the Kshatriyas are recognized by the power to protect society from the disturbing elements of thieves and miscreants. The word Anuvrataha is significant. A person who follows the Kshatriya principles by protecting society from thieves and miscreants is called a Kshatriya, not the one who is simply born of a Kshatriya. The conception of the caste system is always based on quality and not on the qualification of birth. Birth is an extraneous consideration. It is not the main feature of the orders and division. In Bhagavad Gita 18.41 to 44, the qualifications of the Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Sudras are specifically mentioned, and it is understood that all such qualifications are needed before one can be designated as belonging to a particular group. Lord Vishnu is always mentioned as a Purusha in all Vedic scriptures. Sometimes the living entities are also mentioned as Purushas, although they are essentially Purusha Shakti, Parashakti, or Paraprakriti, the superior energy of the Purusha, illusioned by the external potency of the Purusha, the Lord. The living entities falsely think of themselves as a Purusha, although they actually have no qualification. The Lord has the power to protect. Of the three deities, Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara, the first has the power to create, the second has the power to protect, and third has the power to destroy. The word Purusha is significant in this verse because the Kshatriyas are expected to represent the Purusha Lord in giving protection to the Prajas, or all those who are born in the land and water. Protection is therefore meant for both man and the animal. In modern society, the Prajas are not protected from the hands of thieves and miscreants. The modern democratic state, which has no Kshatriyas, is a government of Vaishyas and Sudras, and not of Brahmanas and Kshatriyas as formerly. Maharaja Yudhishthira and his grandson Maharaja Parikshit were typical Kshatriya kings, for they gave protection to all men and animals. When the personification of Kali attempted to kill a cow, Maharaja Parikshit at once prepared himself to kill the miscreant, and the personification of Kali was banished from his kingdom. That is the sign of Purusha, or the representative of Lord Vishnu. According to Vedic civilization, a qualified Kshatriya monarch is given the respect of the Lord because he represents the Lord by giving protection to the Prajas. Modern elected presidents cannot even give protection from theft cases, and therefore, yes, I'm finishing. And therefore, one has to take protection from an insurance company. The problem of modern human society are due to the lack of qualified Brahmanas and Kshatriyas and the over influence of the Vaishyas and Sudras by so called general franchise.
7:16.
Yeah, today we read up to Canto 3,
17.
Chapter 6, Text 31. We'll continue reading tomorrow. Grandarvaj Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai. We'll continue to Guru Puja. Hare Krishna. 31. Hey, can you bring your stand? Go bring your stand. Guru Puja stand. Guru Puja stand. Where is it? No, Guru Puja stand. No, don't write. Lift it up.
My hand is hurting.
beat, you do fast, okay? Not too fast. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Say it. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Gurudeva, Jaya Gurudeva, Jaya Gurudeva, Jaya Gurudeva. Prabhu, shall I start? Okay. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakadi Sadma. Wait, follow my beat. Follow my beat. Bandhamui Savadana Mate Jahara Prasadi Bai E Baba Turiya Jai. Krishna Prapti Hoy Jaha Hote Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chitete Kuriya Kya. Arana Kuri Ho Mani Asha Shri Guru Tera Nirati Aise Uttama Gati. Jai Prasade Pure Sarva Asha चक्षुदान दिलो जे जन्मे जन्मे प्रभु से दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशितो प्रेमा भक्ति जहाँ होते अविद्या विनाशा जाते वेद गाय जहाँ राचरितो श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु आदमा जे नारा बंधु लोकानाथ लोके राजीवाना आह प्रभु करो दया देह मोरे पादाचाया Ibejas gusuk tribhuwana Srila Prabhupada Patita Pavana Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jayam Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva Ma Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Yiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Pashatya Deshatarine
Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha
Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Nityai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nityai Gaura Hari Bol. The lotus feet of our spiritual master are the only way by which we can attain pure devotion service. I bow down to his lotus feet, prayed, awe and reverent. By his mercy, one can cross the ocean of material suffering and obtain the mercy of Krishna. He, my only wish is to have my consciousness purified by the words emanating from his lotus mouth. Attachment to his lotus feet is a perfection that fulfills all desires. He opens my darkened eyes and fills my heart with transcendental knowledge. He is my Lord, birth after birth. From him ecstatic prema emanates, by him ignorance is destroyed. The Vedic scripture sings of his character. Our spiritual master is the ocean of mercy, the friend of the poor, the Lord and master of the devotees. O Master, be merciful unto us. Give us the shade of your lotus feet. Your fame is spread all over the three worlds. We take the shelter of your lotus feet. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
It does not say you take the lotus, the feet at the end.
Yeah, that's extra, right?
It only says spread all over the world.
Yes, right. Well, don't play now. Krishna, play when you're sitting. Can you put it up? Can you put sit it up, stand up? You want prodigy? Then you're not going home. Let's go in the temple. Well, you stay in the temple. You come home and you just not alone with it. Yes, you go to prodigy, you stay home in the temple. You stay in the temple. staying here a whole day, you can take one from there, then family and return. We can keep it over the weekend and put it back last. Thank you. Have you associated with the ISKCON in the Southern California? We all deserve to go. We all deserve to go. Krishna has eternal time. If you always say, I don't deserve to come, I don't deserve to come, okay, I'll wait for you. Because I have as much as time you have. Far more time. Yes, right. So, we are eternal parts of Krishna, right? So we have same time, he has same time, is eternal. So you can wait. You can wait for many, many lifetimes. He's waiting for us. So our call is to be always, not I don't deserve to come, but I want to come and show myself. I'm a fallen soul. See me and show me your mercy. That should be our prayer. Our prayer never should be, I don't deserve to come. Own perspective change. Right? So if you come, you'll be able to serve Krishna. But if you don't deserve, if you say yourself you don't deserve to come, how will you serve Krishna?